What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining the Titan Bros. This is Josiah. I am Gabriel. And we're here to break down the Cowboys-Titans game in about 20 seconds. It went about as well as we expected when you have one team that's playing a preseason game, the other team that's playing to win, possibly get the one seed in the NFC. It's kind of obvious how that game's going to go. And Mike Vrabel and everybody can say what they want to, but they purposely lost that game, which I'm fine with, which I'll explain later. So that's the end of the Cowboy Titans game recap discussion. So this week we're obviously moving on to the Tennessee Titans against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Winner takes all, loser goes home. Now I think there's a small chance that the Jaguars might be able to backdoor their way into a spot even if we win the division. But I think even that's a long shot. Like they'll need like the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets to all lose or something like that. But it's basically a win and go the next round, or to go to the playoffs and the loser go home. So basically, playoffs week 1 starts now. So it's preseason last week, playoffs this week. So that is what we have got going on today. And welcome in.
Yeah, exactly like you said, the playoffs you could say starts today, just because the Titans and the Jags are in a winning in, losing out kind of situation. But tomorrow's Sunday night game is the same way with the Packers and Lions. Basically, who wins that goes to playoffs, and who does not go. So this is, the first week of some really exciting football, in the sense that playoffs essentially almost starts today. You know what I mean? You got in a playoff atmosphere, it's going to be like that in today's game. That's going to be like that tomorrow's game. So I'm looking forward to this, because for a while now I've been just waiting for the playoffs, excited about it. But it's basically here now, and I'm all for it.
Okay. I was going to ask you this question at the end, but I'm actually going to start off the show before we actually jump into the game and I go over the injury report and all that stuff. I'm going to ask you, do you want us to win? Because I'm sure you've seen the stats, you've seen the articles and everything. If we lose this game, we're more than likely going to have a borderline top 10 pick. We'll be picking in the draft at like the 11th overall, 12th overall. Could even slide into the top 10, because there's a lot of teams right now that are 7 and 9. And if all those teams win and they go 8 and 9 and then we drop to 7 and 10, we could be picking at like 8, 9. But just by winning and going to the playoffs, then that would put us probably, I would say, 20th, picking at the 20th.
That's a huge difference in the draft. 10 to 20 is a huge difference.
Yeah, I'll say. I feel weird saying this out loud, but man, if we end up picking up like pick number 8 or 9, we're in striking distance at CJ Stroud if we, got sold on him.
Yeah, me personally, I think him and Bryce Young would be gone. But a lot of people, and I didn't love him, but a lot of people loved the quarterback, Levinson's, I think.
Will Levis.
Kentucky. Will Levis, that was. A lot of people loves him, and he, I think, would be around for that. So if you do your research and you fall in love with him, you could get yourself a franchise quarterback. Again, he didn't blow me away in Kentucky, but I'll say, maybe there's more than that if you dig deep in there. But like you said, there's a huge difference there, and winning and losing will make a huge difference on who you get to pick and who you don't. All week, and this is the Titan fan in me that I can't help, because all week I could not help but want to lose. Okay, I'm like, because I was thinking pick 10, even if it was pick 11, it sounds so much better. And I'm thinking future already, because the Jaguars or Titans, whoever wins this game, this is probably where the season ends, basically, for them. Either way, you know what I mean? All we do is delay it for another week, basically. So all week I've been wanting us to lose. I really have. But as it's game day now, and I can't help, I watched some Titans highlight videos and Titans, videos to get you psyched and everything. I'm just shaking my head like, dang it. Now I want us to win. But all week I've been wanting us to lose. And so now I'm stuck in limbo, and I don't know what I want.
I think, I don't know what I want either. And I'm going to be torn either way. You're right. It makes all the sense in the world for us to lose, because it's not just us picking top 10-ish for the first round. That's the second round, too. Means we'll be picking at pick number, 43 or something.
Yeah.
As well, again, that's almost basically a first round again, as opposed to picking all the way back at like 60.
Yeah.
If we win and go to the playoffs. there is zero hope of us doing anything in the playoffs.
Nope.
Maybe we could win. Maybe we could win week 1 because we'd go against the Chargers, who we held to 14 points, and our defense is coming back, or 17 points, and the defense is coming back healthy. Maybe it would be the Ravens. See, the Ravens just stale, very stale. They're a very, very injured team as well. So, like, it's possible we'd win some games in the playoffs, but if you stop and think about it, there's literally this big of a chance
We're winning a Super Bowl.
of winning a Super Bowl. Our only hope in the Super Bowl would be, or to get to the Super Bowl is, I don't even know if it's an option, but like if we somehow messed around and got to the AFC Championship game, if we could activate Tannehill, that would be our only hope. Our only hope, because he's on the IR, so technically he has to miss 4 weeks. Because I'm not sure you knew this or not, but we're allowed, I think, it's 8 activations off the IR. You can only do 8 a year now. It's a new rule, I think. And we've done 7, but we did not activate anybody this week, so we can still activate one more person. And how many games did Tannehill miss? 2?
2, I think.
Yeah, because it was one Malik and one.
Josh.
Did we put him on IR before the Malik game?
Actually, I think today's game would be 2.
Okay. So yeah, it would have to be AFC Championship to be able to. So yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it to the Super Bowl. We have no chance. We're too hurt. We're too injured. The fact that we even have a chance at a playoff spot is in a division shows what the state of the AFC South is like. And here's another thing that would make me want us to lose. If we win, that means next year we're playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the Bengals. If we lose, then instead that makes us play against the Ravens, the Dolphins, instead of who's number 2? I guess it would be the Chargers again. But I would be able to handle those way more the second seeds than I would the first seeds, and it'd be the Jaguars that'd have to face all those.
That's true. You know what I was thinking as well is that, if we miss the playoffs after starting 7-3, you're gonna have more people angry and more likely to get rid of Todd Downing and stuff like that. But if we slip into the playoffs and maybe somehow accidentally win a game, that might be all Vrabel needs. Like, you know what? This is our guy. We're gonna stay with Todd Downing because we just had a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and sadly, I hate to say it, this part as well. I like the offense we marched out there on against the Cowboys. It was not a just tight bolt formation so we can run up the middle. We spread those boys out. We had receivers and tight ends in the slot just running routes.
For whatever reason, Todd Downing trusted Joshua Dobbs, who had been there for like a week, way more than he trusted Malik Willis, who's been there all off season long. I don't know why that is. Maybe that speaks ill against Malik Willis, but Todd Downing, caught a completely different game with Joshua Dobbs than he did with Malik Willis.
Yeah, it looked like an NFL offense as opposed to just run up the middle.
I still don't like him. Still want him gone.
Same. But like, I'm afraid that will give Vrabel some justification to keep him if he does,
Because I don't know about you, and I don't have anything to back this up necessarily, but I feel like Vrabel's looking for reasons to keep Todd Downing, not reasons to get rid of him. I don't know why. I just have that feeling.
Yeah.
He's going to hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah, in one of the interviews, somebody had asked him if they thought about making changes to play caller, and Vrabel says, "I see what's being taught in the meetings, and I'm seeing what's being taught out on the practice field, and that's what I want," kind of deal. And I'm like, but at some point, you have to realize you have a almost historically bad offense. You don't score points.
Exactly. That's a good way to get you fired, Vrabel, if you're too stubborn to get rid of a obviously bad offensive coordinator. You know what I mean?
Literally, that's how the last coach for the Titans got fired. Yeah. Mike Vrabel would not part ways with Terry Robisky, who was also terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike Mularkey would not fire Terry Robisky, who was an offensive coordinator that sucked, but we wouldn't get rid of him. So, but anyways, back to what I was saying about the if we're supposed to win tonight or not. Everything points towards like we need to lose, and I would have so much more hope and faith and trust in our next season with these top 10 picks, an easier schedule, all of that. But
once the game starts and you and I are watching it, you know that you and I are going to get into it and start wanting us to win. I can't help it.
the Jags and the Jag fans and the Jag Nation are going to be so annoying this whole offseason.
Yes, they will be.
AFC South champs.
Let me tell you
baby.
what's annoying is the Jaguars. I think has a quarterback. I love Trevor Lawrence lately, and Texans are going to have whatever quarterback they want. And CJ Stroud is good, but I think Bryce Young is phenomenal. And the Texans could have literally a phenomenal quarterback in Bryce Young. And Titans are already, it is what it is. NFL is a quarterback league, okay? If you got one, you got a big leg up on anyone else. Don't matter how good your defense is and all that. And we got the Texans and Jaguars look like they got the franchise guy. Now, Colts, they can't figure out the quarterback position either. But that's really making Titans. We're going to be falling behind real fast.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's frustrating. And the other thing about the Jaguars is, remember, they made a trade that seemed a little silly at first. Remember, they traded for Calvin Ridley.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so next year they're going to have Calvin Ridley to add to their wide receiver.
Yeah. Our winning the AFC South days could be over for a little bit, at least. We need to get ourselves a quarterback. We need to get ourselves a legit quarterback. But we'll see how it goes.
Now, we can have those offseason discussions because obviously Tom Brady's going to be a free agent. Derek Carr is going to be a free agent. Technically, we still have Ryan Tannehill under contract.
Yeah.
You never know what Aaron Rodgers is up to. So there's options.
I agree, but we'll see. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm not sure what I want. I think right now I say I want us to lose, but then I think as soon as that game starts, I'm going to have a completely different opinion.
Yeah.
The Cowboy and Titan game, which was completely useless for us, I was watching that, and whenever we did something stupid, like that pass interference that was super long, and our cornerback decided to tackle the receiver, what was that? I literally asked my wife, I was sitting beside when it happened, I threw my phone and started smacking the couch in front of me, even though that game is completely 100% useless, and I know that's going to be me tonight.
I can't believe we were in that game because we ended up losing by two touchdowns.
But it was a good game. Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I agree, and I know this is gonna sound like a weird take, but I am so glad we lost against the Cowboys and Texans, because even if we had won those games, because the Jaguars also won, we'd still be a winner in lose and go home.
That's true.
So I love the fact that we set ourselves up to either we're gonna get a good draft pick, the best we've had in a long, long time, or we'll be in the playoffs, AFC South champs. Hoorah! So it's the weirdest situation in the world to be in. But now that we've got a very lengthy intro, I'm going to quickly go over this injury report. All right. There's only one player on either side that's out, and that is a Tennessee Titans. I guess he's a defensive back. I feel like he's a defensive back named Devontae Harris. No idea who he is. He's not playing. I think it's some of that back-end roster churning that the new GM's been doing as of late. And looks like he likes to hurt people just like John Robinson did. But anyway, questionable, Dylan Cole, Christian Fulton, Amani Hooker. Those two right there. If they play, that's hecka good for our defense. If they don't, that's frustrating. I just want to slap them both in the face.
Those two cannot stay on the field.
No, and once our number one cornerback and our free safety, who a couple years ago led our team in interceptions. He led our team in interceptions for a while this year as well. At least at first.
Who also just got paid, who's sitting on the IL. Or not really IL, but injury list.
Yeah. But they're both questionable. NPF, Nicholas Petit-Frere, he's also questionable with an ankle. And then Traylon Burks with a groin is questionable as well, which hopefully these injuries don't become a trend. All right.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'll be able to say these names right because some of these names are weird when I was writing them. Trevor Lawrence is questionable with a toe, but he's been questionable for like 3 weeks.
He was questionable when he torched us last time we played him.
Right, because I remember there's a chance, especially when it first happened, everyone's like, oh, he's probably not playing next week.
Yeah.
But he might have pulled a little bit of Taylor Lewan where he looks like he's dying, and then 2 drives later, he's back on the field. Taylor Lewan used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, their long snapper, Ross Matiskik. I've never even heard of the guy. He's long snapper. He's questionable. They have an offensive lineman, Brandon Sheriff, is questionable, which it'd be nice if he was out.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman, Foley, Fatukasi. Never heard of this guy either. Both their safeties, Andrew Wingard and Rayshawn Jenkins, are both questionable. And then their number one overall selection, quietest number 1 overall selection in NFL history. Trayvon Walker, also questionable. But if I had to guess, if it's winner takes all, I'm sure they're going to do everything they can, inject little whatever into people to get these guys out there and play the game. So I will say, though, as weird as it sounds, our injury report is a lot shorter than it's been. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questionable and 1 out. But I'll tell you why. I think we have 20 people on IR.
That's ridiculous. No one can stay healthy.
Yeah, it's not that our injury report is small. It's just they went to the IR, so they don't have to show up on the injury report anymore. Did you hear about – I don't remember if I said this stat last week, but they said of the Titans' 53-man roster, I think it was like 23 of them started the season either on the Titans or on somebody else's practice squad. Almost half our roster is literally practice squad members.
Ridiculous. We got to figure something out because there's 2 years in a row with this. So,
yeah.
Don't know what it is, but it's ridiculous. It really is.
Got to figure out something. All right, so now let's talk from the angle as if we're wanting to win the game, and we're going to look at some matchups. I mean, technically, these matchups are something to watch whether or not you want to win the game or not. Matchup number 1 that I'm going to throw out, it sounds like such an obvious one. We have our third-string quarterback who 2.5 weeks ago was sitting on the Detroit Lions practice squad. Matchup number 1, if we want to score points on offense, give Derrick Henry the ball and let him run it down their throat.
He was doing that, if you remember, the last time he played them, but then some picks, and then he fumbled, and it kind of killed it. But he actually ran well the last time he played them.
Yeah, last time he had, I think it was 96 yards in the first quarter, 96. So he was on pace for about 380 yards if he kept that up. So he had 96 in the first quarter. Then I think he had like 20-something in the second quarter because he was like 120-something yards at halftime. In the second half, he had 2 rushes for 2 yards is what it was.
Yeah.
So, which means it was the turnovers, like we said last time. I think we had – did Derrick Henry fumble once or twice?
I don't remember. I remember Tannehill fumbled once to a pick. Derrick Henry fumbled once or twice. I can't remember. I want to say we had 4 turnovers, so he may have fumbled twice.
Yeah. So regardless of what happened, the turnovers is what killed us because the Jags defense aren't special. They have a couple good players like Josh Allen, and I mean they do have a number 1 overall selection, Trayvon Walker, who I don't think's been bad, but for being the first person selected in the draft, he's not really wowing either. So they have some players, but I don't know. I think their defense is suspect. It's their offense that we honestly need to be worried about, which is so frustrating. But anyways, it was nice to see. Like, I like Trevor Lawrence as a person, but as soon as they drafted him, I'm like, I hate this. And then he was very lackluster his first season.
Yeah, I agree.
There's more and more rookies doing that. Because if you remember correctly, Josh Allen wasn't good. His rookie.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, so anyways, my matchup is run the ball. Derrick Henry, for us to win this game, it sounds like a high – for us to win this game, I think Derrick Henry needs over 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I agree. And in my first one, I agree with you that we got to run the ball. But I am very curious. My matchup is what is Joshua Dobbs going to do against the Jaguars defense, which is, like you said, they're not what you would call awful, but they're not great either. They're like, they're decent. They're a defense. So I love to see what Joshua Dobbs does because to me, I want to know what I'm doing for a backup. Maybe it's neither of the two. But I am almost done with Malik Willis. So can Joshua Dobbs come out here and actually play a pretty good game? If he can, I see no reason why we can't have Joshua Dobbs being our backup. Because, a backup quarterback who, you're like, that's not very exciting. But as we see, our people like to get hurt. So if our quarterback gets hurt, it's nice to know you have a quarterback that go out there. Even though some of the games we did, like the Chiefs game, but that wasn't really because of him. But I like to see. I want to see what Josh Dobbs go out there, just play your heart out, and let's see what he's got, and see maybe we can get a new second quarterback going into next season.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm freezing up in your camera, but you're freezing up a little bit. I don't know if you're having maybe some Wi-Fi issues, but you're good now. But I got the gist of what you're saying. Yeah, he's kind of auditioning as our backup at the moment.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, Malik Willis, not only has he been bad, that's maybe some of the worst quarterback play I've seen in a Titans jersey ever.
He
And it's
does
not
not look like an NFL quarterback.
He doesn't. It is not like I don't have much to compare him to because if you remember correctly, Marcus Mariota was hurt every year. So we've seen a lot of backup quarterback play.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, Blaine Gabbert, Alex Tanny, I don't think ever got any starts.
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle, Charlie Whitehurst, just all the backups we've seen play through the years. I have never seen anybody as horrible as Malik Willis. We've discussed this before. He does not throw the football. He just snaps the ball, never looking downfield. He snaps the ball, looking at who's coming at him, runs this way, runs backwards, he spins, he just runs and then throws the ball away or gets sacked. I'm like, you never throw the football at a wide receiver, and I don't understand why. It's so frustrating.
It's very frustrating. But you're right. He looks completely uncomfortable. Like he is not ready to stand in the pocket, make a good throw, and take a hit. He does not look like he's ready for that.
Nope, none. Going through progressions, anything like that. He's just all he wants to do is run. Anyway, so that was my first matchup. My second matchup that I am looking for, and this is a harder one, and it's because I don't trust the Titans' offense. But I do know our defense, when healthy, is capable of doing this. We have to hold the Jaguars to 20 points or less. Because that might sound like an impossible task, but we've done that against Patrick Mahomes. They only scored 20, and it took overtime to get to 20. We did it against the Chargers. We held them under 20 points. We did it against the Bengals. They scored 20 points. So even though the Jags offense is good, they're not better than these teams. So we have got to hold them to 20 points or less, because if they're scoring 27 or 30 plus, forget it. The game's over. We haven't scored 30 points all year. Why on earth would we start now? So defense has to hold the 20 points or less to get a dub.
You know, mine's kind of similar because it's on the defensive side of the ball, and I kind of agree with what you say. If Trevor Lawrence goes even slightly, off, that's a good one. But we had zero pass rush last time we played the Giants, and Trevor Lawrence off on us. Because we didn't have Autry. I think we always had bang up Jeffrey Simmons is all we had, but we have Autry, we have Simmons. I want to see, can we actually put a little pressure on him, on Trevor Lawrence, and make it his day not as easy as it was last time? Because last time he stood in the pocket for a while and he was just able to slice and dice us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously having Autry back is going to help. We got Bud Dupree back out, but at this point he's just kind of in for a couple games, out, in for a couple games. So when he's out, I don't even pay attention to it. He's on IR now, so he's done. So I like having Simmons. So I don't even think Jeffrey Simmons was on the injury report. And then we have Autry back. So I'm happy with all of that. So
like to see if we can put some pressure on him.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. All right. So there's our things we're keeping an eye on. Let's quickly go over, because we're already 24 minutes in. So let's go ahead and go over a brief worst case, best case scenario. Best case scenario is doing exactly what I just said. Holding them to 20 points or less. Derrick Henry runs all over them. Let's say they score 17 points. And then we had, let's just say we were 13 points. And then at the very end, we put a drive together for a touchdown. It's going to be, I could very well and most likely predict this will be a tight game. So we hold them 20 points or less. Derrick Henry runs the ball. We keep the ball a lot. We have one more like 5 minutes left on the clock. And Derrick Henry just keeps running like an 8-yard run, a 7-yard run, holding. Just kidding. But yeah, just slowly work our way down the field. And we end up either, let's say they're stacking the heck out of the box. Josh Dobbs finds Racey McMath. They tackle him at the 3-yard line. And then suddenly we got 50 seconds. They have to start burning their timeouts, or just pound it up the middle. Then last second we pound it in there, and that'd be that. That's the best case scenario. We win. We get the AFC South. Yippee hooray! Goodbye picks. That would be our best case scenario. I don't see us destroying anybody. Have we destroyed anybody this year?
We don't destroy people. Tackles was our most. Our last win was our most impressive win.
Right. And that one was, the fourth quarter is very much still a competitive game. Yeah. So that's our best case scenario, in my opinion. Worst case scenario, our defense just goes out there. Christian Fulton can't go. Amani Hooker can't go. They just pass all over us because we have both of our starting edge rushers out with Harold Landry and Bud Dupree. They are just no pressure off the edge. Even if we get pressure up the middle, then Trevor Lawrence just rolls out, finds somebody. They just burn us all day. They drop another 30 points on us, and we're just like 13. That's all we're able to get. And one of them's a garbage time touchdown where it was like 6-30 in the fourth quarter, and we get a garbage time touchdown 13-30, and that'd be that.
That sounds, both of those sound, Titans is a team that can only win one way. So it is hard to have any a different way, you just said, about best case scenario. So you run down the throat, you play defense, you get there, but don't win. Field goals with ugly 20. That's been more like worst case scenario. I think that the deep goal and give them you said. I think that's what you say, but I agree with both.
Again, I don't know if this is your screen, this is your Wi-Fi, or what it is, but right now there's like you're cutting in and out, and there's like a frozen picture of you doing. That's what you're doing in my screen. At this point, I haven't. It's still stuck that way. So at this point, we've gone through our everything we need to go through. So here's the hoping for a whatever. I was going to say for a Titans win, but I don't even know if that's exactly how I feel. So whatever happens, I'll be down for it, I guess. I say that, but I could see me either being mad if we win, being like, oh, there goes all those picks, and we got to get the number ones in every single division in the next year's, season. Or I could also see if we lose, then I'll be like, God, stupid Jags are gonna win. So I feel like I'll be mad either way. So yeah, it'll be fun. So I guess that's all I got. Closing remarks is tighten up? ? But hopefully we will be able to get to a cap either tonight if we need to vent and frustrate or let out some frustration. I just said frustrate. But if we need to let out some frustration, otherwise we'll probably do a recap on Sunday, one or the other. I don't know, but yep, that's it. Peace out. Signing out from the Titan Bros, and we'll talk to you after the game. See ya.